Good evening. My name is Dr. Harry Dunstan, and I am the founding artistic director of the American Center for Puccini Studies. Thank you for coming to this evening's performance of Pietro Mascagni's lyric scene, Zanetto, which tonight we're calling Last Tango in Darnestown. Just a brief setup. You'll hear Dr. Doris McCary and Aaron Tordaklev. I will be playing the piano. This piece premiered in 1896 in Pesaro, which was the hometown of Rossini. Mascagni was living there because he had accepted the directorship of the conservatory there, and that didn't work out too well, but the first fruits of his being there was this wonderful opera. The text is by his two boyhood friends, Giovanni Tozzetti and Guido Menasci, whom he'd known from childhood in their native city of Livorno. Zanetto really is not terribly well known, mainly because it's a short piece of 40 minutes, and then there's the question of what do you pair it with. But it's a fascinating history of the piece itself. It begins as a play in verse in France that debuts in 1869 with Marie-Léonide Agar and an actress that we come to know to be very famous, stars in the role of Zanetto, and her name was Sarah Bernhardt. And we actually have Sarah Bernhardt's family member right here on the front row tonight. So we're connected to this piece in like one or two ways of separation. But this piece was wildly popular. In fact, it really was it sort of slingshotted the careers of these two actresses forward. The rest is history, as they say. And then in 1896, it was translated into Italian by Emilio Praga, and then Giovanni Tozzetti and Menasci set it to verse, and here we are. So it really has quite the circuitous path. It's like so many other things. It happens in France in the 19th century, and about 30 years later it happens in Italy in opera.
Ma non sarai felice. Vieni qui dall'affatto, tenuto per ammanno, il amore di qualche rondine seguisti da lontano. Quasi ti vedo che la speranza in un sogno parla. Qui potrei forse restare, senti, i pari miei, padre e madre non hanno, son figlio d'un marchese o d'un Milano, e chi lo sa, il mondo corsi finora libero e giocando, né mai vita miglior sospirato, od quando gustato la cara voce tua, ad una bella ho sognato d'avere una sorella. Quando mai sussurrato dell'intima dolcezza una cassetta lucida il rumore del mondo in mezzo ai fiori. Allora sì, mi son sentito solo. Io cedo ai tuoi consigli. Oh, se volessi trattenerti vicin, questo signor randaggio, e ora resterete teco, sempre d'accanto mi avresti, e col mio canto le tue lunghe giornate dice, poiché vole furono preghi miei, io chieder te vorrei, riservi a Florentino, lo dicono del cielo, ogni bellezza, dicono che il suo sguardo, una carezza che conquisti l'amore. Ecco che bella e pallida al par di te, signora. E poi che reca e prodiga, andavo cerca lei, mio Dio, forse potrei entrar fra i suoi scudieri, ma intesi mormorare che la strana bellezza di qualatiera donna e il pazzo viver suo con sventura. Ti confesso, Madonna, che ho paura. Che devo far? Consigliami, devo andare da Silvia. Sarebbe ritornato. Questo fanciullo ignoto che col cuore te reza l'anima, la sorte mia e la felicità. Devo chiacchierla via, così poco amico che non mi vuoi rispondere. Infame, no, così vuole il destino. E te, senti bambino, non cercar quelli lei, la tua bell'anima non conosce pericolo. Se io non posso proteggerti, aspettare potrò salvarti. Ascoltami. Non andar da Silvia, magari il buona e autostrada mi puoi rendere grazie. Io salvato, tutto è finito. Ahimè, se m'avesse scoperto. Partirò, te lo certo,
Hi, we are here with Thomas Friends. Thomas is one of our most grizzled veterans of the American Center for Puccini Studies. He first participated with us in our New World premiere of Puccini's opera, the four-act version of Edgar. Thomas, do we remember what year that was?
That was 2006.
2000. You were just a wee lad in high school.
I was 14 or 15.
14 or 15. What other operas have you done with us?
That, Vili,
Vili.
Fanciulla.
You had a named part, so you were Jim Larkins.
Jim Larkins in Fanciulla del West.
And
Sciarrone in Tosca.
Okay.
La Boheme, I was Schaunard.
Were you in Madame Butterfly?
No, I haven't done that with you guys.
Okay. What else, have you done any of the other ones?
None of the Puccini ones, no.
Okay. Now, you had a special role in Tosca because you were Sciarrone, who was one of the torturers, and I was impressed with the research you did for that because you actually went to Italy and well, tell us about that.
In Volterra, I visited the Museum of Torture. Most of it doesn't work, but...
No. Okay, but you threw yourself into the role. We also do have footage of you visiting Puccini's house, his birth house in Lucca, right?
I deny everything.
Yeah, the graffiti that says Thomas was here, you're denying that?
Always.
Okay, all right. All right, now Thomas, we must ask you because you've seen Zanetto twice.
Twice, yeah.
Okay. Now, we know it's a riff on the myth of Eros and Psyche, about Psyche trying to be balanced with Eros and so forth. And so I want to ask you, do you identify with one character more than the other?
No, I identify with the myth itself.
So you are the myth.
I am the myth.
You are the myth of Eros and Psyche. You heard it here. It's not one. You're both. You're it, right? Okay. Can you look into the camera? Yeah. This is Eros and Psyche, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Yeah. And you only get this with the American Center for Puccini Studies and with operas like us, right?
Right.
Yeah. How often do you get to see a living myth? Thank you, Thomas. Hi, we're back with Aaron the Gator Tordaklev and Abigail Rose Horowitz, known as the Abster. Now, one of the cool things about opera is that we get to play with time, right? Because they're like fairy tales. So what you're seeing right in front of you is the present and the future, because this one's a phenomenal Zanetto right now, and this one, yeah, I'm pointing to you. She's going to grow up and be a great Zanetto. If you were a psychoanalyst,
Which I am not.
which you are not, I know that, but you play one on television, okay. And if Sylvia comes to your office as a patient, and if Zanetto comes to your office as a patient, what would be your short directive to each of them?
To Sylvia, probably that she just needs to get out and see the world. To Zanetto, I think maybe to narrow down his choices. He seems to kind of be all over the place. Young, careless, just willing for everything. But I think that I would advise him to pick a more specific path, while Sylvia should probably pass.
All right, do you have office hours next week? Because I'd like to come talk to you about a few things.
I do.
You do, okay.
What day?
I know, now she wants to know what my insurance is, yeah. All right, so I've got one last question for you. I've already asked someone that you know this question and they had an answer. Yeah. If Zanetto was at this party and asked you for your phone number, would you
No.
go out with him?
No.
You would not go out?
No.
No. All right. So I'm working hard for you, Zanetto. So, who would Zanetto date in Hollywood? Who would you match him with?
Me. Someone who's equally as naive as he is and carefree as he is.
See, I would pair him with someone that would maybe level him out more.
Oh, okay. So maybe someone not
Tone
in
it
the
down.
to tone it down.
Yeah.
Okay. But you think there's a lot to work with.
Sure.
He's a nice fellow, right?
Yeah, I mean, seems very moldable.
Yeah. Who would have thought in a 40-minute opera we could have this discussion, right? Yeah, and you hear all this laughter and gaiety in the back, right? There's nothing. Is there anything like opera?
No.
No. Look in the camera and say that. There's nothing like opera.
There is nothing like opera.
Stop whatever you're doing and listen to an opera right now, right?
Right.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Zanetto of the future, Zanetto of today. Wow, we have so much to look forward to, don't we? Thank you.